Welcome on back everyone to Total War Warhammer 3 in part 14 of our legendary Mother Ostankya Immortal Empires campaign. In today's episode we are here for the Battle of Wordbad, where we're going to start things off with a little bit of heals for all of our big units that have taken a little bit of damage. And we've got a gigantic army across the field from us. There are 10,000 enemy troops that are going to be coming in total. They think they have us surrounded, but they shall soon learn. You've fallen right into Ostankya's trap. So we'll start off like we normally do with the witches moving forward to find their speedy units, so we'll see if we can smash their leadership as quickly as we can. First Spirit Leech going down for the enemy, they're going to deal a little bit of damage to Ostankya, but since she's got so much magic resistance, that's not doing much at all. Getting about 10 damage a tick there. And we can heal that up no problem with Ulias. Our first group of reinforcements led by Kimmler is approaching, and the secondary ones are going to be coming in quite soon. Don't have a lot of time to deal some damage, but with the artillery and magic, I think we have a good chance to do quite a bit. On the other side, we've got our very weakened Kislev forces coming in from the garrison, holding the back line for the last army that is going to be reinforcing. Lovely multicolored spells. Splashing apart enemy lines, missing a little bit there because the AI on Legendary is, or at least on very hard battles, is very good at dodging missiles of all kinds. Especially when your Hag Witch is with. Spirit Bear unleashed by Ostankya. They weren't giving us any good clumps to go ahead and drop the Cauldron on, but a Spirit Bear is quite devastating. Smashes a hole down the middle, and they'll take a little bit of damage for a few seconds. I think out of 160 units, that took down at 60 total and dealt a ton of damage. So they're effectively out of the battle for now. Julias down for the witches as they kind of smash their way through with these very, very low tier infantry. No trouble whatsoever. An insane amount of volume here, so let's dial this back. Not sure quite why. Inside the battles, it seems like the volume always changes up. The mix, that is. Ostankya and the witches are dealing all of the damage of the first group. That is the Curse of Iran effect you're seeing there on them, the little claws scratching at them. As far as back on the main force, we've got our warriors, the Golden Knight, and our two big beasties acting as the main defensive line, while everyone else kind of hides out in the woods, ready to deal all sorts of damage. We've also left our Beast Hag Witch back with a unit of the ethereal things in the woods to try to tear down this Necromancer. He's doing a pretty good job of healing, though, so we'll see if we manage to get him down. Yeah, a bad time for just about anyone, though. He's made a couple of rather bloody friends. What's happening? It could just be the overall damage they're taking just for being alive. Hard dog life being ethereal. The Blood Knights have charged on in and have been caught by the Golden Knight, who's now frozen them in place. They're going nowhere. Combination of Ice Bear, Ice Worm, and Icy Blade should send these poor vampires to the afterlife. While the Beowulfs come screaming out of the woods to make sure there's no heals there. In the forest, we've got a pretty titanic brawl going amongst the skeletons and all of the beasties. Got skeletons and zombies throwing down with bears, spiders, and things in the woods. Not to fight those skeletons a lot, but we're definitely overdoing this flank. That way we can break them quickly and move them in to help out with the rest of the army. We've got kind of a disorganized front here. Most of them are well away from their most elite. And I will admit to forgetting about these two gray bubbles. We'll see if that comes into play later on. I was assuming we were going to fight the entire army all at once, which is not exactly how it works. We're pulling our lads back into a bit more of an organized line. That way we're not falling to disharmony. White King has had a pretty terrible time at the battle, and he is already fizzling away back to the dust from which he came. Big elemental bear is battering aside plenty of those car-sized bats. The Vargulf has rampaged with, like, the plan for having all of their most elite units. Once they commit them into battle, we did not want them pulling back at all. A lot of times they'll charge them in, smash some stuff up, and then send the spears in to distract, which is a very good strategy. Just wanted to stop this where we could. Our poor witch has been caught by the Karen raids. Hopefully she can drag away, but that is going to be a lot of damage quite quickly. The sides are very mean. Over in the forest, we've got things going very much our way, with the big Wendigo charging on in, unleashing his howl. Halting that Blood Knight charge, and we've got the Beowulfs back on into the woods to stop any kind of heals from them. So their normal hunger going unsated. Only traitors attack comrades. Not sure why he's saying that. We're fighting the undead. Not much to say there. That is an epic scene. We've got the cauldron bubbling. Our big icy beast smashing things apart. Hagwitch taking quite a bit of damage. We definitely need to get her out of this group. Her health is not really meant to stay in and be taking a lot of damage. As you'll actually see, we missed it, but Himmler brought in a couple more Hex Raids, and they surrounded and drop-kicked our poor beast hag right off of her chariot there. So we have ourselves a wounded hero for the first time in this campaign. More silent spells going down. There's so much happening. If we go in there, it'll slow us to a PowerPoint crawl. Haven't yet done enough damage to bring in the secondary army, but they have so many troops coming across the field that they have now caught our Akshina. We're locked in deadly melee. Akshina are good at fighting, but they're not great at defending themselves. Now, destroy the units of the forest. Time to get these guys here. Here comes a charge of some Black Knights. I think they definitely picked the wrong fight here. Beowulfs charge on in, so they've got discouraged and the big, horrible beastie. Got some Ghost Cavalry riding on in, finding them a juicy flank to smash into. They smell souls. Warriors of Kislev are going to make for an excellent harvest, unfortunately. And now we've got the final army making its appearance. These like 5 guys each start to unleash their arrows on Rudolph. Numbers are pretty intense, but we have defeated so many heroes at this point that their leadership is really struggling. They're down to 41 just kind of base, which is pretty abysmal. Big Icy Bear moves in to give him a backhand, and Ostankya is relentlessly pursuing it. Liesel here, who defeated our Hagwitch beasts. Bird triple tap. She missed, but he still felt that damage all the same. See what the leadership is on a couple of these over here. Only 1, 6. We are breaking them quite aggressively. The loss of Kimmler will also do pretty terrible things to their army. Blinding effect gets the headbutt from hell. There are still so many enemies there, but Kimmler is now down. Our speed bump of Kislevite warriors is holding the line momentarily, but it looks like actually they're sending the river round, which is surprising, because they could flank in and deal pretty horrible damage to our poor, unfortunate Sheena who are still left here. Frostworm holding the line. How many kills it got and gained itself? Freeze up to 122 slain. Not bad, but nowhere near as good as we could have hoped for. Now we've got a big blob of forest critters smashing on into the remaining warriors here. Take a quick look at their leadership, which is down to 31. More lords and heroes we defeat, the worse that's going to get for them. to see the wavering already from the new armies coming on in. Down to 30. We may just get them with army losses, which would be hilarious. Rakshina have formed up a new wall to start blasting on in. Not a lot of good choices for us here as the final few brave settlement defenders fall. Horrible, but worthwhile sacrifice. Sheena destroy the crypt ghouls with the first volley. We need more of that. Beasties are holding back the tide, but we definitely need more in our back line here, otherwise our Frostworm is going to eat the void itself. Squad of Graveguard charge on in. Their leadership is actually still incredibly high, so we need to do what we can to break that down. And who would appear but Narissa Lesa. Narissa Lesa. I'm just going to call her the Golden Knight because I'm going to butcher it to oblivion otherwise. Get him. The almighty horse uses headbutt technique. Then you go and Frostworm working in tandem to rip apart the remaining leadership. Rakshina down to 12 warriors. And the final white flag as the black magic bindings break, and a massive army shatters away to nothing. And an absolutely monstrous battle between 10,000 undead and our paltry force of 700. We lost nearly half of our own foot soldiers in the fighting, and one of our hag witches was wounded. But it was a battle that was well worth it, so hopefully we are able to now turn the tides on the undead in the area. They did get to keep a smattering of their units, but nowhere near enough. How the Hex Raids are a problem. But thankfully, both of the Blood Knights are gone, so that's those dangerous units. The Bargulf is also gone. They lost the White King, so it is a far less dangerous force overall. We will go ahead and take the Solyak provides, no matter how minimal that replenishment is.
We belong only to Kislev. I will carve my name into your bones.
Looks like Vladdy's also no longer keen for war. Since you're still fighting the Empire, you're still fighting me, no matter how much gold you're willing to offer me there, old undead Voldemort. And Corhedron now charges into Iron Spike. Silterator rides once more with an absolute ton of Dark Riders. Thankfully, though, we'll just take the auto-resolve. No problem. We lose almost all of our garrison, but worth. Pretty much everyone except for these last 24 men on top of the ramparts. It was an epic duel. We'll take the gold.
Leave them to stop.
Looks like that means Silverator is now going to have to deal with the invasion of Sambalbe, which is not exciting. Can I go ahead and Bewitching Lure? Magath can have been wiped out. Excellent here. Urkaliska now should be able to turn into Finn Silverator. We'll find out. Drain is building up some outposts. Edmund has been wiped out. Well, they were actually trying to set up a new ambush for us. How brave. Kimmler's quest for the darkest of knowledge will never be over, but has suffered something of a setback. Defeating Kimmler gives us 10% resistance for the entire army, which is pretty great. Ostankya is now also a Master Mason. Alright, so now we can choose to deal with this army, or leave Silverator to hold the line itself. I think we aren't going to get... Adds defenses to the settlement. It's an unwalled settlement battle against a Slan of Life with fire. He is not a banana Slan, so he's likely a fire Slan. Greek Roxagor are definitely an issue, a couple of horned ones. It's not a weak army by any means. So what we should likely do is recruit up another army over here on this side of the world. About 17,000 gold, but before we commit to that, let's swing on back over to Ostankya and pass out those skill points. Well earned. Okay, so 2 extra. We'll zoom on in and get ourselves a little bit more replenishment rate, all the way up to max.
Curdling milk.
We will give Gretel the first point into Mentor. And then also, the secondary point into, we'll finish off the spellbook here. Malediction of Madness. Drops the cooldown by 30% and allows us to cast the Blessing version of it, which is the one that rampages your troops, gives them a lot more melee attack. It's like a little baby wah. A wee little baby wah. With the Rhyme Blade there. I don't think I care. So as far as what she's got going on, the Servant is not really needed. We could replace them with the Hedge Wizard for a little bit more magic reserves. No one has really tried to take down our heroes, or if they have, we haven't noticed. Arcane item is all you're missing out on. We can go ahead and combine up a few of these potions of strength. Been getting just about one a battle there. Star Iron Ring is great. Go ahead and combine Biting Blade and the Sword of Might. Let's see what we get. Alright, the Fencer's Blades aren't bad, but not really what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and combine up these two, since they're more minor green tier items there. We've got the Ever Full Kvosh, which gives us the Kvosh Breath, a magical, no armor piercing breath attack. You're just blasting flaming alcohol at them. Ever Full Kvosh, who doesn't like a drink? Not a bad idea though, so we can give this to perhaps one of our patriarchs. For now, we'll give it to you because it's going to be better than the overall, than just the Potion of Foolhardiness, which is fairly meh. Go ahead and combine these up, though. And the Sword of Antiheroes is great. Since you are our Slay Dirge, do we switch out the Mace of Hellstorm? Hellstorm. Flaming attacks and 60% more, and what is the Sword of Antiheroes? Just damage. I think I like the Mace a little bit more. I quite like the idea of this turning into a flaming mace mid-battle. She's like old Urza. So we've got the Golden Knight, Nariska Lesa. So what do we want from you? After we have now announced your presence anime style. Don't mind Champion of Kislev, so we have a little bit more attack while on the move. But let's go ahead and finish off these Arena's Guardian. Makes Ostankya quite the unit. Right then. Who's next to get bonked on the noggin? Looks like Altdorf has been reclaimed, so we can't do that ourselves. We could come on up to Black Pit, deal with what used to be the home of these forest goblins, I believe. Pretty sure that's where they live. We'll come on in though, and we'll have the upgraded Witch's Lure for 60 wins. Or not wins, these are Spirit Essence. I guess it could be Winds of the Spirits. I'm thinking we want to try to find the not just Norskins. They don't tend to make all that much gold. I'm trying to find the other. Well, I guess the coast settlements don't do bad, but the demons do much better in terms of gold. 60. We can't really see that many, can we? Well, as not dirtle around forever, let's go check Hexawaddle. 1600 coming out of the Vampire's capital. If we were to yoink from Hexawaddle, it'd be 14. This is actually stealing from them. I would prefer to do this from them. We'll see if it's bleaching their gold or if it's just basically giving us an additional background. Hurting their ability to field these elite armies is going to be pretty useful. Urkalisk.
Noble of the Oblast.
Onward to liberty. Fate of the Interlopers drops leadership and gives us spell resistance. Let's go Vengeance to deal with Slan. And then for our Patriarch across the pond, let's make him a little bit more dangerous. More weapon strength.
Commander of the soldiery.
I think we're going to trust Sildorator to hold, and we are going to go after... What is Gatorfield? Just a bunch of skinks. Let's take down this army. Yoink ourselves a bunch of gold, and then we'll go after Hexawaddle if we are able to reach. This also might convince that army to turn around. So we've got Gator and his mini skinks. We'll surround them though, because we can build up a few more curses and incantations. I'm gonna go as many of these as we can. 2 agony succession, 1 fragmenty, 1 whiff of madness, and then we'll finish things off with a couple unburdened steps. Let's go 1 more spirited away, since we've got kind of 1 free floating.
Cut them
And
down!
now, onward to violence. We could auto-resolve, we would just lose a lot of men, which would be pretty unnecessary. I mean, I'm not going to say it's necessarily going to be an easy fight, but I don't know how well the Fire Leech Bolas are going to do against our bats. In fact, it's time to unleash the unburdened step bats. Excuse me, I would just like to give my bats the ability to flash step on the enemy, please. That's right. And then Ember Dreadswarm Bears explode. Or I mean the Spectre's Miasma. Probably not. We'll leave everything else off here. And then we might just add 1 Agony Succession to perhaps the Lord. So if he's wanting to linger in with his men, he's going to suffer for it. And apologies if you heard Maka. Big, giant pig hoof Maka jumped up on her cat tower off to my right here. You're a demon. Onward to victory. Time to unleash the winged menace on the lizardmen, who themselves usually have a good deal of aerial supremacy. Ooh, and whiplash. Lovely. That is free. So our army is going to consist of this time a whole heap of things in the woods. Elemental, well, not elemental bears, but normal, like good old brown bears. Frost Maiden, Hag Witch, and the Frost Worm holding in the center, while all of our icy sleds are going to roll in and do as much harassing as they can. Skate on in and do justice. That guy didn't shoot at anything at all. Let's not be fooled. Since there aren't a lot of missiles for the lizards, we can do all sorts of horrible things to them with very little they can do back. Hag Witch starts blasting on in. There's invisible stalkers are moving, and thankfully after our frost worms, not something we really care about. As we spot them, we're gonna charge on through. They're not scared of your chameleons. The frost worm will get to work smashing down the barrier, but they're gonna send the skink cohort through immediately. Very bad day to be skink. We're gonna smash through the building pretty quickly. I've got another contingent rolling around the rear here to see if they're willing to defend it. Just gonna probe what they've got going on there. Meanwhile, all of our other lads are going to kind of hold the line and blast away with their rifles. Ice spell ends just in time for a beautiful charge. Spiders, axes, and rifles. Ostankya's armies are a blend of strange. We've got the blessing spell going down there, which is going to be healing our units instead of dealing damage to theirs. Great big blob on in there fighting against all of the Saurus. More spiders are moving on in, and I've now reinforced as this group is going to come on back over. They've got just a few guys over here, and I'd rather have the damage where we want it. The rifle's going to keep shooting, and very soon we'll start them smashing on in as well. They are air-drawn chariots. It'd be remiss to leave them out of combat for too long there. More ice spells blasting apart the arrogant lizards. That's the limits of that cold blood. That's a bad day to be a skink. A lot of our big boys here are gonna just sitting around doing nothing just because of how small of an area this is and getting in each other's way. Would have been probably a better idea to kind of pull some of their guys out, smash them apart from the sides there. But our chariots are now on in, grinding a skink beneath their icy tread. Things in the wood can also start creating all sorts of new nightmares. And the bats coming on in from the background there, they have all been given a specific target, one of the pterodons in the background. Seek and destroy. Those bears, though, battering apart even the Saurus spears. Bit of a good shout while they're at it. They're willing to defend those, the barricades with their life. They will always send their troops forward, so it's best to send your guys on in just to start smashing them up. Going on around, they will probably follow you out, but if you hit the garrison barricade, they will likely come try to stop you. Flurry of wings heads right over the top. They've got extra speed, so there's no way the Pterodon can get away. Our bats are moving at 143 to 90 on the Fire Leech Bolos. Battle commences, and Pterodons started the fight off pretty well. Things quickly took a turn as soon as the devastating flanker takes effect. Several Pterodon already falling. Those that haven't, they've lost a lot of health. Sled smashing back in for round 2. And now we've got a good disorganized. Our things in the wood are being the front line, which is something we don't necessarily want. Flying discouraged across the battlefield is great, but they don't have the best defenses. They're more of a shock troop. That's why we've got our Frostworm up front. He is more of a tanky single entity. Got some Fire Leech issues gunning with our cave bats. Anyone that gets hit is going to take a lot of damage. Since they're very close together in that swarm, the explosion takes out quite a few of them. The skinks are being dismounted quite quickly. And once we dealt with the Pterodons, we can send them into the juicy undersides of these poor skink cohort. A bit of violent witch brew which smashes on through. And you can see doing pretty good damage to the Saurus with the maces. Mace-eye. Bats are still chasing around those Pterodons. Got spiders somehow holding the line against Saurus with clubs. Some plants you think would be premier bug squashers. We're just gonna go ahead and park our Hagwitch back here and she keep blasting away with her magical shots. We've got a lot of Saurus fleeing for the hills. Frostworm devastating that line. Those Saurus have had enough. Red Crests have a ton of leadership, so they're going to be able to fight for quite some time. Bats are going to go ahead and start harassing the Saurus backline, though, with slow death and a bonus for his infantry bat. They're not enjoying that one bit. Great plan has failed you, unless this was always part of it. You were to be but a whetstone for Kislev, and like that, the defenders are broken. Alright, and that is a proper Kislevite smackdown for Gator. Bring me the shovel. We'll go ahead and... Ooh, so tempting to sack Port Reaver. I think we shall. Yoink as much gold away from the Lizardmen as we can, and then I'm going to turn around and claim it. Because none of this is going to belong to me here in a moment. So now that we actually have... I might as well just make as much trouble for them as possible, so let's loot and occupy. And then I'm going to give the Ziggurat of Dawn over to our friends in Cathay.
Shall we talk over tea?
We shall. I'll give you Port Reaver. And you provide to me all the way up to a military alliance. Don't mind if I do.
It appears sagacity is not confined to our land.
We are best of friends. Sweet. And now with our insane amounts of coffers here, let's see about getting some better soldiers from Yuan Bo. So we've got High Sentinel and Floating Pyramid as the two options. Let's go for Floating Pyramid since it's a little ways away from the coast. Still in a pretty dangerous spot with Mazda Mundi there, but hopefully Big Daddy Bo can handle that one. So hunting down Edmund. We can just deal with that real quick. because Heinrich is all the way up to the Black Pit, so let's go ahead and hunt down Edmund. Nordland, we need to deal with Rudiger and Vlad. Good to know where Vlad is, so let's go ahead and accept that mission. Alright. Outpost only with Nordland here, and I don't think they're going to really be around for that much longer. Karl tends to confederate quite quickly with his fellow Imperials. So now we've got the Trinket 4 being friends with Cathay, so we've got our final stone piece, Punch my desk, and the Stone Dog Ornament, the Totem of a Companion, as well as a Protector of Hearth and Home. This is a very good model. Can't wait to actually get some proper Stone Dog infantry, get ourselves some almost Warhounds for Cathay. It gives us another stone token. I don't think there's any trinkets we can make with double stones, so we are out of luck till the next turn. That is all of those trinkets. We're now only missing the Elven Skull for High Elves, the Dawi Czar, Tomb Kings, and the Ogres. All in due time. So Vladdy is in Mordheim. Looks like he's going after either Niedling or Krugenheim. He's still got the curse mark on him, so as soon as I'm able to take that army and just teleport it over to the Griffinwood, I might as well. We'll have Kevin deal with him.
Druzhina.
So we'll take our illustrious
Hear
Druzhina.
my command. Move out.
We'll come on down to the Griffinwood. Fort Bad up to tier 3. I think we should. There's only a few. Oh, he's probably going after Wartbad, which has not the best defenses, especially not against Vlad. His army's not great, but he himself is a raid boss. Okay, so as far as anything else goes in diplomacy, since we've made such good friends with the Jade Court, surprisingly, no. Boris is trending towards very positive.
Monster.
Protector
Pretty much
of the realm.
ignoring Bordelot because they are very likely to claim the settlement I need to over here at the Volcanic Islands, so the more I help them,
So,
the worse we do in the campaign, and the more likely I have to stab them in the back, which
Armored in
I
faith.
prefer not to have to be evil this run.
Do you know who I am?
I'm so surprised you're alive. It's because Warzag just hasn't decided to stamp you out. Fair enough. But with all this money, what should we do? Let's first do some upgrades, then we'll grab ourselves a new army. Walls at Grey Rock Point sound perfect. What are we waiting here for here at Quintex? Just another point of population? Sounds just fine to me. Over in Troll Country, we've got Strogov and Zoidshank under our control, which we might just give over to Zarina Katarina for now. They're making us a little bit of gold. Yeah, I guess we'll keep them. So let's upgrade the town there, or the farm there, and all of the defenses as well. We'll have Gestalten. Defend Erengrad. What you got, Wolfric? Good grief. This was Wolfric and his champions versus Gestalten and his bears. A battle for the centuries.
heed me.
Alright, well, Gestalten.
Anything.
Forward unto dawn.
Everything.
But I'm betting we can just auto-resolve this one quite easily. Ooh, a Pyrrhic. We would lose our things in the woods? But we have the Defenders of Erengrad. Alright, they're giving Wolfric all of the extra here. Alright, well, we'll give him Fragmenti because he likes to be a champion slayer. I say not today. We'll have Agony Succession go down on... I wouldn't mind wasting a little bit of the heals on these guys, but I think that's actually a waste overall. So let's just drop that on one of the normal troops. Whiff of Madness on... Love to use it on the trolls, they're not going anywhere. But I don't think we need that, so... Keep everything else as is, and where's my extra range? I know I've got at least one of them. Maybe not. Now, Spectre's Miasma for extra range on our Streltsy. When also Deadeye's Sting, there we go. We'll wait on this one. I want to use the Spectre's Miasma on our Streltsy. That'll have more frontal and in danger. Just in case they get charged. Magic attacks for... Who really needs them? Probably dodges Hearthblades. Perfect. Now it's a close victory. Could we just win by putting these in the right spots? No. Well, if we put enough of them, we probably could. Let's just plop this back down on Dodge's Hearthblades, give them some magical attacks. And now to deal with the World Walkers. And who doesn't love a duel between fanatics? Little Grom, tell them hello. Please? Please tell them hello? Yes. They miss a few of the normal Norskins, but the Horse Masters take a heavy toll. Don't get hit by Little Grom is the secret to survival. We've got all of our heavy war shreds. I'll slow things down to kind of show off our strategies. We're going to be using our heavier war sleds as kind of a defensive line where they are there to harass anyone trying to move on towards us, but in a way that is very aggressive. So if they overextend one or more of their units, we'll just kind of pull back, allow them to continue to overextend, and then destroy them from there. This is the strategy. We've got our sleds moving in, pulling in the Skin Wolves. I have rotated a couple of our Streltsy. Receive them with some fire. Trying to slow them down with some ice magic, but they react quite quickly, so we're not going to get anyone with our Frosty Might. They'll just receive the normal slow they get when you cast a spell with her. Little Grom has, though, wreaked havoc on these Marauder Spearmen. We'll come on back in and listen to them fire a bit. Got a pretty slow reload time. Now the Patriarch and Things of the Woods have charged in together. A couple of the wolves have made it into the bears, but they're now fighting bears and have rifles firing over their shoulders, so no one's going to enjoy that, not even a little bit. Horse Masters are moving in as well, but now they actually have been hit by the frosty embrace above the Motherland, and they're going nowhere. Trying to use the terrain to our advantage the best we can here while Little Grom smashes apart the champions. The rifles will start firing as well. Amazing stuff. You just get caught up watching. We've got our Things of the Woods ripping apart the Marauder Spearmen now. We'll definitely want to kind of pull them away, but Kislev has been a monster. He's only up to 12 kills, but every single charge here is just decimating the lines. Not on these fleeing lads, but we missed a couple of his really good charges. We've got the Patriarch now fighting against some Marauder champions. The Streltsy are receiving a charge of trolls, which is bad time. Any that fall, though, are going to explode, hopefully dealing a fair bit of damage to those Streltsy. Wolfric has caught one of our sled teams. Not good for them. Every blow he lands is going to deal a godly amount of damage. I see lots of enemy white flags. That's exactly what we want to see. Those rifles are devastating. Decapitating men left and right. Got Dodge's Hearthblades have charged through, ripping apart several of those trolls. They look awesome. Would love a little bit more of a fiery blade, and this kind of looks like the one that Yuri has that's possessed by Chaos, which I don't know if we want Dodge's Hearthblades to be associated with Chaos. Sled reinforcements are now moving in to harass and smash apart the already tattered flanks, and the Griffin Legion, or we've got just the Winged Lancers, have also arrived to see the Norskins into Hades. Or wherever you go to here, I guess the Warp. Victory Kislev. He'll watch aggressively as Wolfric flees for the hills. Who called for a spanking? Wolfric did. We lost 37 of our own, which is almost nothing. Fantastic work, lads. We lost one of our sleds that got into a tussle with the old Blue-Eyed Bandit, but Besides that, we'll just take your replenishment.
To serve Orson is an honor.
Oh, you survived, did you? Blood Feuder. So you've roundly marmalized the Eternal Challenger. He'll be back for a rematch, and soon. Of that, you can be certain. You get extra bonus via infantry or charge, and a charge bonus for Kostalton, making him more of a monster. We'll just imbue all that strength to his big bear Nikolai here. And now onward to destruction.
Kostalton.
I'm not even gonna give them the extra skills. We'll just deal with Wolfric here, losing a 36 once more. And this time we'll go ahead and pardon them. And then light them on fire. Oh no. It was an accident. We just have a Bearwind Wavebreaker now. That is so many armies. Kislev marches forth. We'll go ahead and post up in Erengrad then. And we should be able to take out from this port and go after Festus here in Nordland. Or Norden then next turn. Alright. We know who you are. You've got your stuff all the way down, skirmish traditions, and we need battle engineers then for all of our war sleds. So many wasted skills. We are gonna need to send him back on in as soon as we get things good and Sichim awaited here. First though, let's start giving him a few more of his actual war songs. And then once, I think once we deal with Festus, I'll send him back to school. Hercules, let's go ahead and give you final point into skilled craftsman, or actually we get a upkeep reduction, don't we? For troops we're not using. That makes sense. Horse archers and Akshina, which we do have. Let's go Tall's Judgment, though, an extra replenishment. Help us out against the masses of skinks we're going to be waiting through. We'll give Koshka, we don't need control yet, so let's go Wood Warden for yourself, and then one with nature would be great for later. For now, though, we'll go Fate of Interlopers, just keep delivering those blows to their morale. And then for Hana, we'll go Scouting. This is how I've never said the name Hannah. We've got Gust of True Flight probably for those sleds we got rolling around. Out of Command I don't really like. Star Iron Ring I do. Sword of Antiheroes is an item. Shard as well, and then no armor that I'm able to give. We have some ancillaries probably. Adamant's Administrator will be great once we actually start settling some lands again. More movement range. The servants usually get taken out by skinks. Actually, not a bad idea. They tend to have a bunch of them. Another student, and then that's that. Yeah, but there tends to be a bunch of red crests running around, causing all sorts of ruckus. Something they're very good at. Let's give this Ice Witch more scouting. Nestor will give you the points into replenishment and probably just damage.
Obey.
We've already got Salyak's Lullaby. It is probably the strongest one. But I'd be bored if we used only the one, so let's go ahead and grab Tor's Battle Hymn, so we have ourselves a Dragonhorn ability, or a Wah almost. We can combine that up with Ursun's Roar for all sorts of nasty. And then we'll grab Impassion to... Well, I thought that was... Tier 1 was 12 melee defense. This is the strongest ability in the whole game. Not just 3. Might have some extra things for you, though. Rhyme Blade. Crown of Command may not be a bad call just to have. It's not my favorite, but we can make use of it. Oh, a Hedge Wizard for a Patriarch. We're not going to be burning him later just for Orthodoxy power. A student from our research rate, and looks like all we can acquire for now. I'm going to sell a couple of these veteran warriors on the open market, as one does.
Repel chaos.
Excellent. Our turns are starting to become quite long with all of the administration we're up to now. Any more buildings to plop in? Here in Middenland, which we're about to abandon. Or Weissmund, I guess that's not that big a deal. We can go ahead and upgrade. And we'll come up to deal with Edmund. my least favorite character from Chronicles of Narnia, and dropkick him into orbit.
They will be better.
Lost 0, because of course we did. We'll take the replenishment.
You are myself.
Beautiful. And with that, we move on to deal with the Black Pit. Should have just enough health on most of our units here. A turn of replenishment wouldn't be a bad call. They would then have an additional Necromancer and probably a full stack here on Kimmler.
Nagash had limits.
Even Nagash had limits.
The spoilers of Kislev.
His limits turned out to be
We
cloaked
will
rats.
ambush.
Glowing blades.
Try ever not.
Ninja rats do tend to be most people's weakness, though. I think you have just about everything you can here, Gretel, so let's go ahead and give you those protective charms for when we are in evil territory. And then
This is why Kislev
probably just
endures.
point into Champion of Kislev. We don't have any Zargard or Ice Guard in this army, so would not be very useful. Armor for all, the Zargard, and the Unyielding Kinship would be pretty good. But that's about it. Until we actually start grabbing those more elite professional troops from Kislev.
Celebrate now, Kislevites. Bring
22,000 gold, nothing to do with it, makes me sad. Oh, I gave him the wrong settlement.
Guardian of the
Whoops.
land.
No, that wasn't on purpose. Can we just recruit up a lord here in Sildrator real quick? I think we shall. Let's grow Druzhina, because they can stand back and fire arrows for a while. We'll grab Uragni once more here. Also our headsman. Yeah, we'll grab Uragni.
Drużyna.
And then we shall
Drużyna
rename
stand
you
ready.
to Hansel. Should you survive, we have our Hansel for our Gretel. So Hansel
For the glory
Talav,
of Kislev.
holding the line. We'll give you the Watchman in the Night because
Only
you
the
need some
bravest
soldiers.
are required.
Will they attack? Having the war sleds will be good just in case. I don't think we'll get to recruit them, but
Commander
we can
of
try.
the soldiery.
Restock, that way we can actually fill the ammunition 4 times. Is going to be a really good call. I don't want to give him any actual good items for sake of accidentally losing them in battle here, but the Sword of Striking and the Dawn Stone sound just fine. We give him a Banner of Eternal Flame, and maybe even a Scarecrow Banner to help ward them off. Nomad Riding Master helps with cavalry. We don't have any of those. We can grab the Veteran Warrior, though, and then re-recruit those troops.
This gift is mine.
Yoink, yoink,
alone.
yoink.
I need only the best.
I guess the war sleds don't count as infantry, which would make sense.
Chosen Drużyna.
The Ice Court, could we get any good troops? We could. Some Streltsy, we could get a Frost Worm on in. Since you are a Druzhina, we're still going to want to roll with kind of our typical Kislevite Warrior and Akshina corps. Which they're very expensive, aren't they, at 14. Can we get anyone from maybe Corone or one of the more exciting? Ooh, we could, but not quite the Royal Hippogriff Knights, so we'll save. What about Clan Angren? We don't quite have the outpost in with you guys yet. Reikland doesn't have a lot of good troopers that we can pull from, but we could grab some crossbowmen. $18 missile strength, 18 missile strength. They're exactly the same as us, but they've got 20 more range. From the Golden Order, we can get some mortars, or we could save and get Knights of the Blazing Sun and Grenadiers, or just Outriders. Yeah, Grenadier Outriders would be awesome. Nothing at Karakadrin yet, and then the Jade Court, we have to build them up. Let's save for these Grenadiers then. We'll just grab some cheap and cheerful crossbows, if we're even able to grab them.
We must protect nature's bounty.
We'll see, won't we? Even with that, that's all the gold we can spend, so we'll skip on through, not build an outpost in Nordland. I guess we could upgrade them in a few places. So 6,000 for a Kislevite colony. Now we're upgrading them, and oh, that's actually putting in the first one in a lot of these places. Now we can upgrade the one in the Ice Court. Allows us to replenish her troops in Kislev a little bit easier. And then allied recruitment cost outside of friendly territory will be a little bit cheaper. I mean, it's money banked. We could get rid of that building at any point and just get that money back in our treasury, which would be nice. Alright. Oh, where's another one available then? Oh yes, in Averland. Well, let's try it. Surely they won't immediately be confederated.
Speak.
Bo wants us to join his war against the 1,000 Maws. Ah. Old Scarface. Sold. And Sildrator is under attack? The nerve. Well, it's a pretty dangerous army, but actually fairly susceptible to arrow fire. So the Sacred Kroxigor and the normal Kroxigor are very big targets. They've got a lot of armor, but you can get through that pretty decently. What an awesome looking icon, Kroxigors. So they are going to be stronger as long as they are near skinks. Chameleons and the red crests. That's a little bit terrifying. Well, then I say we pull out all the aggressive stops. Let's go. Deadeye's Sting on our general. Frost Wyvern's Toil on... Well, they don't really have a lot of missiles, do they? We just put Spirited Away on our skirmish boys. That may be the best call. Or on one of our spearmen, who will be definitely hit first. You know, Ember Dread on you there, Snow Leopard. Lastly, just add another Spirited Away onto these Kossars. So we'll let our... No, not the Kossars. I want it to be on the Dervishes that aren't going to be very useful otherwise. Valiant defeat? I think not. Have ourselves one final battle here for this episode. The defense of Sildrator. And now behind these foreign walls of cold stone, we must hold the line. Oh, die trying. For our initial strategy, we've got kind of two main choke points I want to try to hold here. We've got our armored Kossars taking the initial charge of any enemies. We've got several cavalry that we're going to have to deal with, but we've got armored Kossars up front with several of the normal Kossars hanging out behind them, ready to blast away until they are out of ammunition. As soon as we are, that is most likely when we're going to start seeing our lads die in droves. The enemy has on the other side a group of Chameleon Stalkers and Zambalbe, the Salon Mage Priest of Shadows, the demon himself. Meanwhile, rifles have started blasting away at the Pterodons, who discover that they are indeed allergic to bullets. Trying to send another one of their units of Pterodons up and over the top to flank and harass our Kossars. A firebolt is going down. It's a pretty bad time. But they are already ready to flee for the hills, as our skirmishers lead the Horde ones on a merry chase. Ski charge into pistol fire. I would not want to be up front here. They've got their chameleons up front as well, so maybe they're using that innate bonus versus, or not bonus versus infantry, but they've got a lot of missile resist. They may be trying to use that to screen for the rest of their troops, which is a horrifying tactic. I have never seen the lizardmen use their chameleons like fodder like this. But they charge. They're going to shoot, I guess, point-blank shots into our Kossars. An interesting strategy. Pterodons have been defeated for the first wave. And the Pistol Boys, I think we need a little bit of a change where they can fire at guys directly down. They get hit with a lot of javelins, and they're not actually doing anything back. These guys up on top here. So if you deploy some units to hold the line, you're going to want to make sure they have a ability to park their shot, otherwise this is going to happen to them. It's going to be a bad day. All those that started tearing apart are way less armored troops, but that's all they're going to get. Back on the other side, we have done our best to harass this group with our Kossars and spears, but they are being quite slippery. This line is holding against extremely dire odds now. So many horned ones. Kroxigor with the power fist as well. These armored Kossars are receiving quite the pounding. We're not even fighting Slanesh. Brought our skirmish cav back round to harass them once more. Get a fairly decent volley, dropping one horned one. Each one slain is a pretty huge loss on the Saurus there, as these units are nasty. Number of kills they will have by the end of this is going to be extremely high. Holding the line for now, but our first group of armored boys is starting to falter. Skinks find the gap and charge through, trying to disrupt as many of our guys as they can. But our pistols pulled back just a little bit so we could fire into all of the Saurus in with our Skinks, but our Kossars, they actually pulled it into our line so that we would get lots of friendly fire. Clever. Meanwhile, on Confused Kossar, if we had a little bit of better micro, we'd be firing on this group of Sacred Kroxigor, but that's just not the way these guys are going to run on over and claim a zone. And somehow, our skirmish cav got caught by the horned ones. I'm not sure if it's because the primal instincts is kicking in, so they're able to get like a boost of speed because they're chasing down a unit, quote unquote, but however, for whatever reason, they managed to catch our horse archers quite easily, even with way less speed, and destroy them. So we lose one of our actually pretty important units. Like it's nothing. Snow Leopard is clawing apart a million skinks. It's mostly going to be used for dealing with horned ones. Even with its bonus versus large, though, you don't want to be fighting for long, so hit and run style attacks are going to be very, very necessary. We've now popped our Elemental Bear, and it's battering apart some of the Sacred Kroxigor. Getting into our way for our own. A little bit too much, though. Night Watchmen charge on in, and a couple guys just get battered immediately. All their training couldn't prepare them for a crocodile with a power fist. Stone boxing gloves being what they are. Back with the Mage Priest and our Kossovite Dervishes, who are... they're faring alright against the Chameleon Stalkers, but they're definitely being pushed back with the help of the Salon Mage Priest. We've got several units of Kroxigor moving in on our back line, which is a bad time for anyone. We have defeated this first group here. There is a whole another fully health, or pretty much full health unit of horned ones moving into our flank, which is about to be a terrible day, but that is not yet. Several lads being punched straight into the spirit realm. Or are they actually lifting up rocks and throwing them at them, like punching them at the Kossars? Earth-bending crocodiles. Awesome, but horrifying for our own lads. The dervishes have now been spirited away, and Warfare is doing what it can to tear apart Slan Mage Priest. You'd be surprised at how well these guys are actually able to fend off large attackers. I think their hitbox is much, much smaller than it actually looks like it is. We'll start rotating our surviving Kossars now, as they just chuck javelins at us from distance. Our towers are doing damage, but not very much very quickly. Kislev towers do seem to have pretty bad range when you are not range, but accuracy when you were the one in charge of them. As you can see, the horned ones are making very quick work of our Kossars, even though they're being attacked by 3 units at once. They don't care. 3 units at once and a snow leopard, and they don't care. Granted, our snow leopard appears to be a bit confused, but it's dragging down those it can. Pretty much one swipe drops Todorov there. And Piotr, what are you doing? Stop knocking over our Kossars. The bad aim on our snow leopard is going to ruin us. And things look fairly in order at the moment. Quickly it can change, especially with the units of Proxigor they have left that are being missed aggressively by our piercing tower here. The lightning piercing tower. Since we are in a Dark Elf city, that's why it looks like a Dark Elf tower. I've got the distinct faction towers on, so that way they actually match where you're supposed to be instead of just being bits of sticks and rocks every single time. Dropped Proxigor, but he's back on his feet. Gonna kind of slow walk into battle now that they've got their chameleons with them. Chameleons count as skinks, because they obviously are, and they'll power up Proxigor. They've got Proxigor bullying poor Nikolai, which is the name of every snow leopard. Got Hanzo running away from the giant gators. Ooh, it's a bad time. Their axe is a little bit bigger than his. Try to keep moving so they're not able to land too many hits, while our archers fire over his head. A couple of the horned ones scream past, and they are going to make very quick work of that group of Kossars. Especially with help. The Exowaddle boxing team has arrived. And things quickly are going to take a turn for the worse, as poor Hansel is being battered by gigantic hammer. And our Watchmen of the Night are actually being blocked by these armored Kossars, who are aggressively struggling in their fight against the Saurus here. Some Balbe just kind of slowly floats to his new home. The arrogance. I'm going to continue to try to smash our Snow Leopard into the horned ones, that way we can attempt to eliminate this unit. We are on an extreme timer now. By our blood has been popped most of our units there, so they've lost all of their immune to psychology and that one-time leadership bump, so fleeing and a mass rout is now definitely on the board. At least the Watchmen of the Night look awesome. They're a fantastic unit for fighting infantry. Don't put them to fight power fists. They will lose. Like these poor Kossars, who are being pounded into dust. Hansel has already run for the hills. He is no more. And that is a loss for Kislev. It hasn't been called just yet. We'll come on in here and watch the Watchmen of the Night do their thing. They actually fight quite well when people are out of their way. Wouldn't mind seeing a few more enchanted blades amongst Kislev's forces. But now, the Kroxigor have a lovely flank to smash into. Even though the Saurus spear bodies are starting to pile up, it's too little too late. Oh, it's horrible. And there's the loss. Exawatl claims a win on us. And try as we might, we can't quite overcome the might that is Sambalbe. Not this time. We're down to 1 Kroxigor there, 3 on the other side, but we need to move quickly or this is going to go quite badly for us.
I should tear you apart. Be grateful for my restraint.
So is it a peace or else kind of thing? I'm going to tell you no. If you prefer, I can give you the gift of my blood. A few drops is all it takes. You're not a vampire.
It's a pleasure to talk to someone who's not a complete idiot.
Also, is just the Fey Enchantress? The damsels agree a treaty would be most wise. Military access? You look to be having a bad day. Grom is launching all over the place. Sure.
I should tear you apart. Be grateful.
What do the Norskins want? A peace treaty? No. No, sir. I think no is the answer. Erengrad has discovered a caravan trading caravan. Their arrival has brought great riches and great friendship. Yeah, Hansel was slain already. That won't be our final Hansel. I was just hoping we would win that one. So we'll go ahead and grab Purification Chant here. I'm going to. We don't have the research for maxed out Purification. That's fine. Truthfully, we're just doing this because where's the most undead corruption that we have to deal with?
Drużyna.
Actually, none down here in the ward. Needling is good as well, so if we could... It'd be great if we could help out Fort Ubersteyer here by dropping their corruption to 0. Well, looks like there's not a ton of options here. Ostankya is so good at cleansing corruption, they have not even been able to build up any here. So Ostankya, let's move on and deal with Victor on the outside, and that should draw Kimmler and everyone in for a battle. Then we can purify the Black Pit. We should just be able to auto-resolve this one. You know our strengths by now. That's what I thought. Doesn't matter how many Graveguard they bring.
They will be better dead.
They already are. We're just helping that process along a little bit more.
You will, sir.
Thank you, Salyak.
Whether you like it or
And
not.
now we claim the city. The Black Pit.
Do
Let's
not
pass out skills just to get a little bit better auto-resolve options for us.
Feed the forest rage.
Results, that is. Let's go Quartermaster here for her, and then everyone else gets hopefully combat
Reduce
skills.
them to shadow.
Malediction of Madness sounds great.
Kislev's foes die.
And here for you, Golden Knight. Honestly, let's just go for March's Arena so we can grab the Unyielding Kinship, and then we can go down her yellow line until we have those professional soldiers.
Spirits. Aid.
That'll do.
Teach them blood
51.
and utility.
And we are absolutely sacking Black Pit first.
Carry.
Let me turn around and have it now. Don't be greedy.
Ends justify
That's the way.
means. We shall raise a watchtower here.
Alright then. Purification Chant.
Salyak.
Get
Mother,
this nasty
blessed saint.
cobwebby nonsense out of here. And Black Pit's been brought down to tier 2. We'll just upgrade everything that's here because it's not got a terrible setup already. And we'll grab ourselves some Unyielding Kinship. Every member of the armies with whom the Golden Knight serves becomes a little bit tougher and more resilient, as bonds of blood and honor are formed through shared experience. Indeed. Shared experience helps block bullets.
Drużyna ready.
So it looks like we've got an ambushing Vladdy, or he is running as fast as he can for the hills. We'll come down to Krugenheim. Don't mind being a little bit in the open. If we get ambushed, we have Ulrika.
Light the heart fires.
Try an ambush. My dopey undead friend. Okay, Krugenheim is now defended. Perfect. Well, that's going to be all the time I've got for today. I have been at Space Wizard Total War. If you enjoyed today's Mother Ostankya episode, remember to leave a like for the like god and a sub for the sub phone. I'll see you on the next one.